So you can go ahead and lie down on your back. Good. So on your back, palms to ceiling, legs apart, eyes are closed. Good, palms to the ceiling. And just close your eyes. And just drop in. Give yourself permission to drop in and get a sense of what we call your body sense. Just take a couple of breaths there just for yourself. Inhale. And exhale. Good. And as you're breathing, starting to drop into your body, as we start with what we call your reconnect technique. And the awareness is the first point of reference for anything in our being, in our world, in our perception. Once we are aware of something, we can choose to continue with that, or we can continue to shift. But awareness is where it all begins. So just noticing, we want to look at where stuck stress is our body. We'll look at the 3 places where stuck stress likes to live, along with our 4 common muscle imbalances. And the first place is in your shoulder girdle. So just noticing if you feel like your shoulder blades are down on the mat. If you have stuck stress in your upper body, you might notice that you're tipped back a little towards the top of the shoulder blades. You might feel like you're a little more weighted on the right or the left. And you may also feel like your shoulders are curled forward versus open and wide through your collarbone. Just turn your head to the right and left. We're going to do lots of focus in the upper region. And so just noticing if any stuck stress in your upper body is affecting your neck, and bring it back to center. And then starting to take your focus now to the curve of your spine. Ideally, the curve is in the low back region, which is between your pelvis and your belly button. And if you've got stuck stress living in your diaphragm or in your pelvis or your shoulder girdle, you might notice that the curve of your back is what we call long. You would have what we call a full back curve versus a low back curve. You can feel your ribs really lifted off the mat. And then the third is in your pelvis, and noticing where you're weighted on your pelvis. Ideally, you're feeling like you've got equal weight on 2 butt cheeks, so that you're weighted on the tissue of your pelvis, as opposed to weighted down towards the tailbone or on your sacrum. And noticing if the back of your thighs are touching the mat. Those are your masses. Masses are typically on the mat, and the spaces being the back of your knees would be off the mat. And then that would reference your toes pointed to where the wall and the ceiling meet. Bring yourself back to your torso, divide your body into a left and right, and just notice if you feel like you're equally weighted on the 2 sides of your body, or if you have, if your autopilot isn't functioning as efficiently as it could be, you might feel like you're more tipped over to one side, or maybe one arm or leg feels longer than the other. Let's take a focused breath in. And as you exhale, bend your knees and roll onto your side and up to a seated position. Good. So if you're not comfortable sitting on the floor like so, you can sit on your roller to elevate you a little bit more. So for some, that might be more comfortable. Or you can sit up on a chair if you've got a chair nearby. And we're just going to go into your grip assess here. So let's just give your ball a little squeeze and just notice the difference in strength from right to left. So just go from one side to the other. And also notice if there's any tenderness moving up your forearm, your elbow, or up into your neck there. Perfect. Good. So we're just going to take the ball and you're going to place it. I'm going to come a little closer so you can see my hands better. And we're just going to place it here at your thumb pad. And we're going to go into your glide, where you're gliding the ball from your thumb pad to your pinky pad. Now I find it challenging to, did you find your ball, Marley? Yes, no? Oh, perfect, great. To do both at one time. So I just sort of focus on one and then the other. What's important with the glide, remember, is that it's consistency of the pressure. You're not pushing hard just enough that you can manage the ball. And then you're going to finish with the ball between your thumb pad, which is position 0.3 here. And you're going to compress the ball and you're going to go into your shear. Good. So you can be kneeling again, sitting cross-legged. And then you're going to squeeze the ball and you can move your thumbs around, because if you're like me, you're on your computer just an insane amount of time. So let's move those thumbs. Good. And then you wait, you take a focused breath in, and then you exhale. Good. So if you're sitting on the floor, you can place your hand on the floor. If you're up on your knees or sitting cross-legged, you can also place your hand on your thigh, and we're going to go ahead and rinse. So you're going from your knuckle over top to your finger in one direction. And if you can also, you can see on my other arm, I'm rolling above my wrist. So 2 or 3 passes on each finger. It really doesn't matter if you are doing the tops or the sides of the fingers. Good. If you're missing your manicures, this can be good for building fingernail health and strength. So let's add this in. And then to the pinky. Excellent. Good. And then to the thumb. Remember the thumb, you can do the tops and the sides. Also, we're cooking a lot more, aren't we? And so if you do have arthritis in your hands or your knuckles, make sure you do both sides. This is a really nice one to get just some hydration and get the inflammation that could be living in your joints down. Inflammation is really what causes the pain and the challenges when we grip and we hold. Good, lots of chopping, all of that. Good, so 2 or 3 passes on each finger, including your thumb, right there. Excellent. Good. And then the last is friction. So friction is really important for your lymphatic system, for getting the job of the lymphatic system is to flush the gunk out of your body into your kidneys and then to remove it. So, you know, we really want to make sure that we're stimulating the lymphatic system. Excellent. Good. And then just release and just give the ball a little squeeze and just notice if it feels different, if you have a little more strength, if there's more balance from one side to the other. So now we're going to do our mini facelift. I'm going to take my glasses off for this. So we want to go to that point, remember, just behind the ear. Then we're going to go just at the jaw, and then we're going to be going at the temple. If you're sitting on the floor, you can rest your elbow on your knee and take the ball in the heel of your palm, just behind on that bump behind the back of your ear, and put your fingers on your head, and you're just going to do some circles. So the idea is what you want to do with the compression is you want to pin the skin and mobilize the tissue underneath that. The weight of your head, make sure your head is leaning onto your ball. And you just do 15, 20 seconds or equivalent of, you know, a few deep breaths. Good. Let your head relax. And then we'll bring the ball to your jaw, which is just below your cheekbone, same thing. So, you know, our nerve endings are in our head, in our skull, as well as our hands and our feet. And by doing this treatment, it's very relaxing by stimulating the nerve endings. As I mentioned earlier, this also feeds down into the gut. So if you're finding you're getting some gut issues or tension from stress, then this is really good as well. And then we wait, take a focused breath. Good. And then you move up to the temple. And you do the same thing. Fingers are on your head, just helps to mobilize and control the ball a little bit better. Nice easy breaths, let your neck relax, let your head fall into the ball, and you wait, take a focused breath in, good. And then you move back down to your jaw. This is a nice one to do if you're feeling, you know, when we're stressed a lot, we can clench our jaw. So some people are noticing that they're getting a little bit more TMJ sort of stuff. And so this is really good for just really relaxing all that. You can do this with your fingers periodically in the day as well. Then you wait. Good. And then we go back behind the ear. Fingers are down, neck is relaxed, weight of your head is just causing the compression of the ball into your skull. And then you wait. Good. And then we go to the other side. So same thing, you want to find that bump just at the back of the ear there. Fingers are on your head. Head is relaxing into the ball. And then we just circle. Noticing how your shoulders maybe are starting to relax. You feel your body sort of calming and slowing. And you wait, take a breath. Good, and then we go to the jaw. Again, fingers down. Good, if you're not sure, you can just open and close and you'll feel the joint pressing against the ball, and that tells you that you're in the right place as well. Good, and then you wait. Good, and then you go to the temple, same thing. So all of this is really good for bringing the hydration and the fluid down from the head down into the neck and through the chest, especially when we go into the rinse. And then you wait, take a breath. So if you're finding you're getting a little bit of, some people are saying they're getting just some mild headaches, again, it's just a change, right? We're in a change of how we do things. You know, maybe we're not used to being home and eating all our meals at home, so our meals are different. All of these things are just a change. Take a breath. Good, and then behind the back of the ear. Now, Your Village Talks this Saturday, we're going to talk about why routines and structure and rituals are really actually important for our health and well-being, and what that can look like. And that also, how do we create new ones in the face of ones that we had maybe just aren't possible anymore? And then let's wait. Good, and then bring the ball down. So now we're going to rinse. So with the rinse, you want to be nice and light, and it's just down, down, down. So we want to move the fluid that we've now created through the shearing up in the head down into the body. So they're just nice little flicks, light. And then when we come up into the face, now we're flicking out, down and out, down and out. And then up, down and out. Good. And then we go here. And if we're missing our facials at the spa, this one is helpful. We're going to be doing a girls' facial night. Been working with Leslie Lee at Your Village Spa, and she's going to be able to bring you some facial stuff for your skin type, and we're going to do a ladies' facial night. Good. All right. How does that feel? I'm doing okay there? So now we're going to put the ball away, and we're going to get onto the roller. And so I'm going to move back here again. Good. And we're going to do our back of skull shear. So we're going to take the roller right behind the back of your head so that when you lift your chin, you can feel the back of your head weighted on the ball. So make sure you're on your skull and not your neck. Throat is open, nose, eyes to the ceiling. And you're just going to go into your infinity sign or your sideways figure 8. Right here. Good. And then you're just going to pause there, take a focused breath in, and exhale. And then we're going to do our neck decompress. So make sure the roller is right behind the bump of your head. Lift your chin, open your throat, take a breath in. And as you exhale, just lengthen through the back of your neck as you draw a straight line down from your nose and chin. Inhale, pause, and exhale, bring it back up. So what there is to notice here is that you've got part of your vertebra that's anchored onto the mat, and you're simply lengthening your skull away from that anchor point, decompressing through the cervical spine. It's important to do this slow, so we inhale, pause, and then exhale, gently pressing into the roller as you lengthen the skull away from the spine. Take a breath. and then exhale to return. And we'll go one more time. Inhale, and then exhale. Good. Focusing on the back line and bring it back to center. Good. Roll onto your side just so you can push yourself up safely. And then we're going to go into our upper body decompress. So we're going to take the roller behind your mid-back, and you're going to plant your feet. Take your hands, interlock your fingers behind your head. Make sure your head is heavy in your hands. Lift your pelvis, and then just move the roller to the top of your shoulder blades. Make sure you're in a little tuck and your core is engaged. And we're just going to start gliding into the up and down on the roller. So here, notice how as I press into the roller, I'm sort of curling forward a little bit. So what I'm doing is I'm focusing on pressing into the front side or my body side of the roller. So I'm pushing against the roller versus rolling on top. And then just find a little spot that maybe feels tense. I'm rolling away from you there. And just tighten up the glide a little bit. Good. And then bring your pelvis down and then go into your shear. And then wait, take a breath in and exhale. Now reach your right elbow to the ceiling, and we're going to do the inner shoulder blade glide on the left shoulder blade. So you're just tipped, you're a little bit rotated here, so you can get onto the inner shoulder blade, and then just glide up and down the whole length of the shoulder blade here. And then if you feel a spot that feels like there's a little bit of stuck stress or tenderness in it, just tighten up the glide. Remember, you want to bump up against any point that's tender because it's kind of like you're massaging it away. And then bring your pelvis down, and you can fan this elbow or you can move your arm around. Good. And then you wait, take a focused breath in. Good, and exhale. Excellent. Then come back to center, and then we'll do the other side. So you're going to reach your left elbow up and lift your pelvis a little, and you're going to glide up and down on the inner shoulder blade of your right side. The glide is both exploratory and preparatory. So you're exploring, is there any area of tenderness? And as you find that, you're going to bump up against it, tighten up the glide, which means now we're preparing that area for the shear. Good, and then you bring your hips down and you shear by either opening and closing your elbow, or you can move your arm around. Now, I'm going to do the other side first. If you are going to roll onto your side and face me, stay where you are, but I want to face you. So I'm going to come onto this side of the roller, and we're going to go into our ribcage glide. So with this one, you want to move the roller in about your bra line. And then you want to take this arm out in front and this arm down here. And we're just going to glide on your rib cage up and down. If we're doing this correctly, the roller is going to start to creep up towards your armpit. So probably getting close to your armpit there. So then we just reset. We bring the roller back down. So it's about lower rib to bra line. Reach this arm out front. Reach this hand here. And again, go into your glide. Gliding up and down on your ribs. It's like I'm curling forward a little bit. You can also pump with your legs to create that gliding motion. How's that feeling? Is that feeling tender? If you have been congested or had a cold or allergies, this might feel really tender. This is wonderful because it's going to free up space in your ribs and in your lungs. Good. And then we're just going to take a little breath and exhale. So then we're going to do the other side. I'm going to flip my roller just so that I'm facing you, but you can face the other way. So now you bring the roller so it's just under your rib. You're going to reach this arm out front, and this hand comes down in front of the roller here. And then same thing. So my arms are helping so I don't have, I can control how much of my body weight is on my ribs. Plus I can use my legs to pump. Good, so the roller is slowly going to creep up to being just under your armpit there. Good, and so once it gets there, you can just lift and reset the roller. and do your rib cage glide once again. Make sure you're breathing as we go through this, especially if it's tender, you might catch yourself holding your breath. Good. Excellent. So we're going to stay on this side and do our rib length. So now we're going to bring the roller again back underneath. And on this one, Barb, if you want to use your towel, you can do that. So that would be your option. Always have that with you. So yeah, if you've got really tender ribs or osteoporosis on this one, because it's quite a big curve, you could roll up a towel and put a towel underneath so it's not as deep. So now I've got the roller about my bra line. I've got going to take myself down. This is where if you need a pillow between your head and arm, so if your head is not comfortable, then you're going to bring this arm overhead. And with the bottom arm, you're going to grab just above your elbow. Now, your option is to keep both knees bent. And as you draw on this arm to lengthen your ribs, you're going to tuck your pelvis. So think about activating your core, drawing your pubic bone towards your belly button. The focus is lengthening the top side now. Your next choice is to extend this leg and put your big toe down onto the floor so you can press into it as you tuck and lengthen this arm, focusing on the length of the top side of your body. Take a breath in and exhale. Now we want to come out of this slowly. So we're going to bring your leg back in. We're going to slowly bring this arm in, and you're just going to turn and rest your head on your arms. Take a focused breath in and exhale. Good. And then we'll do the other side. So again, I'll just move my roller. It's really helpful when you guys email me and tell me what's going on, as Marley did today, because I can help create the classes. This is the difference between doing a live class and doing a recorded class that you just find on the internet, is that I can still customize this to you as I would in class. So here I am, I've got the roller about my bra line. I'm going to lie down. I'm going to take my arm overhead. The focus is lengthening this side of your body. Good. And then you're going to tuck. As you lengthen on this arm to expand your ribs, you're going to tuck, draw your pubic bone towards your belly button. This may feel like it's enough for you. We just want to get some tensional pull where you can maintain your breath. Your next choice is to extend your top leg, press your big toe into the floor, tuck your pelvis, and lengthen. You're reaching from your pelvis down to your toe, you're scooped through your belly, and you're expanding through your ribs. Take a breath in and exhale. Good. Then we slowly unwind. We bring this leg in. We bring your hand in. You turn and you rest. It's a big move. Freeing up space through your ribs. Freeing up space for your lungs. Getting some fluid into that whole area. Good. And then bringing yourself up. So now we're going to come onto your back again. And we're just going to rinse. So with your hands behind your head, you're going to slide the roller so it's at the top of your shoulder blade. You're going to lift your pelvis, and as you exhale, you're going to push your body into your side of the roller and pushing the fluid down the body. You'll stop when your bottom hips and your legs extend, reset your feet, slide back to the top of your shoulder blades. Plant the feet, tuck the pelvis, hover, push into the roller to slide and move the fluid down. Bend your knees, slide to the shoulder blades. One more time, lift the pelvis, press. It's like you're steamrolling down your back. Reset. Good. Now, come to where the roller is just at the bottom of your shoulder blades. Keep your pelvis in a tuck. And I'm just going to have you lengthen your ribs. Let your head be heavy, elbows be wide. And we're just going to do a little side bend here. Good, and come back to center. And just notice how the movement's feeling in your rib cage. While this is one of our assessment movements, it's also an actual move in itself of mobilizing your thoracic spine. And bring it back. Then I'm going to have you slide the roller so you're closer to the top of your shoulder blades, You're going to tuck your pelvis, head is heavy, and then you're just going to lengthen. So I want you to visualize the vertebra that's pinned to the roller, and you're just extending the vertebra above that over the roller, and then bring it up. And then just move the roller down a little so you're maybe mid-shoulder blade here. Make sure you stay in your tuck so your low back isn't moving. Notice, feel that vertebra that's pinned on the roller, and then just lengthen and gently extend the vertebra above it, mobilizing your spine. Good, and then one more. Just move a little bit, keep your tuck, and then lengthen. Visualize that vertebra pinned to the roller, and then just a little bit of extension back. Take a breath in and exhale. Good. And then bring yourself up. So let's just check in. So we're going to lie down, move the roller and lie down on your back. And just palms to ceiling and close your eyes. And then just turn your head side to side and just see if there's any more ease of movement in your neck. And then also notice if there's more of your shoulder blades and more of your rib cage down on the mat. And then we can also take a look at what's happening distally, even though we haven't moved through our pelvis yet. Do you feel like you're more centered on your pelvis? And you might even notice that the low back curve is a little more distinct because the ribs are down. And then you might also feel that you're a little more balanced, so you can divide your torso into a right and left, and just notice if you feel a little more balance between those two sides. Good. Now take your roller, Anne and Sharon, if you want to use your half roller for this, you can grab your half roller. You're going to bend your knees now, bring the roller underneath you, lift your pelvis, and bring the roller underneath your sacrum. So the half roller is helpful if you're quite tight in the low back, or if you're short. I would do well with the half roller as well, because we do want to keep your ribs down. You also want to make sure here that the roller's under your sacrum. So you can feel here, is it under your low back? So you want to feel like you've got the top of your pelvis on your torso side of the roller. And then when you bring your knees up and you bring your thighs a little bit closer towards, you want to make sure that your hip bone is right over top the center of the roller. Now tilt your knees to the right and just bring your left hand just gently under the left side of your pelvis. And then tip your knees over to the left and then bring your right hand just under the right side of your pelvis. And then we'll just go into your SI joint here. So I've also been noticing a lot of people getting out of their garden, which is excellent exercise, but it can leave us with a stiff or tight low back. So let's work on that next. So ribs are heavy and we're just rocking onto the right and left sides and using your hands as reference. And then I'm going to settle my knees over to the left just because that's facing the camera. And then we're going to circle both legs. Now make sure here that you're not letting the legs drop away from your body and that you're losing that control of your ribs. Keep your legs weighted over top and slightly towards your torso side. And then you can just circle in the left hip here. If you're getting a lot of crunching and popping, that's the dehydration in your joint that you're experiencing. Just make the movement a little smaller or a little slower. And then you can also march. Good. And then you're going to wait. Take a focused breath in. And exhale, bring it back to center. And then we're going to take it over to the other side and just circle at both knees. So here we use the hands so that you don't go too far. We want to be right on top of the SI joints to bring some hydration and flow into your low back and into your pelvis. You can circle the right hip. Again, you can start small and slow and then slowly make the range bigger, as long as you're not feeling any snapping, crackling, popping, crunching. We don't want that. We want to be really smooth in the movement. And then you can also march. Good. Oh, it feels so nice in the hip and in the low back, doesn't it? And then take a breath in and exhale, bring it back to center. So now we're going to go into our tuck and tilt challenge. So you're going to bring your hands onto your thighs, slide your hands up so they're at the top of your knees. Now keeping your ribs heavy, that's really important. Then keeping your elbows straight, you're going to press your thighs into your hands and you want to keep that tension, but check that you're not letting your shoulders get tight. Elbows straight, When you press your hands in your thighs, if you're keeping your shoulders down, you're going to notice an activation of your core. Then keeping that, you're just going to exhale, tuck, and inhale, tilt, and tuck, and tilt. Now the movement's quite discreet. Remember, we want to keep your ribs heavy and move your pelvis independent of your rib cage. Keep the pressure of your thighs balanced. Good. Now, keep the pressure of your thighs into your hands, tighten your core, and then step your right hand over to your left thigh. So now you're just pressing your left thigh into both hands. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to slowly lower your right leg just halfway down. And then exhale, contract through your core, keep the pressure, and bring your leg back up. Let's do that side again. Take a breath in, your left thigh is pressing into your hands, and as you exhale, you lower your leg halfway down. Take a breath in, and exhale, contract through your abdominals and bring it up. Now, keep the pressure of your left thigh into your hand, move your right hand over to your left, and your right thigh, and press that right thigh into your hand so it's ready. So right now you have pressure of both thighs pressing into both hands. Then you're going to take your left hand off and place it against the right. Inhale. As you exhale, feel that core activation as you press your right thigh into your hand, lower down, and slowly bring it back up. One more on this side. Keep that thigh, that pressure constant, lower down, and then exhale, bring it back up. So now we'll alternate. Take your right hand to your right thigh. Now you have equal pressure of both thighs into both hands, but now you're going to step your right hand over. Take a breath, check your shoulders to relax, core is engaged. Slowly lower your right leg down. Keep that core engagement and bring it up. When we switch, your right hand presses into your right thigh, your left thigh is pressing into your left hand, and then you're going to switch left hand over right hand, lower the left leg down with the breath, and bring it all the way in. Now place both hands on your thighs. If the roller's moved, you can adjust it. We now want to come into a tilted position of your pelvis, so the weight of your pelvis is on top of the roller. Ease up on the pressure a little. Take a breath. Low back, decompress. As you exhale, keep your tilt. Press your thighs into your hands and noticing the lengthening coming into the low back. Shoulders are relaxed, core is engaged, ribs are heavy. Inhale, ease up on the pressure. Keep your elbows straight, shoulders down. As you exhale, press your thighs into your hands and notice the lengthening that comes into the lumbar spine. Pause, take a breath in, ease up on the pressure of your thighs on your hands. As you exhale, shoulders down, ribs heavy, press your thighs into your hands, contracting your deep-rooted core mechanism, lengthening through the lumbar spine. Good. Now, next, we're going to do your bent knee press. You're going to take your right foot down onto the mat, and you want to feel your full footprint. You want to actively press your foot into the floor, especially your big toe pad, to help keep your knee tracking straight. Then you're going to interlock your fingers around your hand, your shin, and then you're going to actively tuck, so pubic bone to your belly button. We're looking to find length on the right side of your hip and thigh. Take a breath in, feel the footprint pressing to the floor. You're tucking as you exhale, think of your knees moving in opposite directions. So your right knee is lengthening over your right toe as you draw your left knee towards you, actively tucking. It's the footprint and the tuck that causes the length. Ease up as you inhale. Exhale, check. Is your knee tracking straight? Press your foot to the floor. Tuck your pelvis and reach your knees in opposite directions. Relax your shoulders. Take a breath in and exhale. Bring this leg up. Place your left foot down. Actively press into your whole footprint, particularly your big toe pad. Tucking your pelvis, pubic bone to belly button. Relax your shoulders. Take a breath as your fingers are interlocked around your right shin. You're going to exhale, press into that left foot. Tuck your pelvis. Reach your knees in opposite directions, feeling that lengthening down that thigh. Take another breath in and exhale. Press into your left big toe pad. Tuck your pelvis. Pull your knees in opposite direction. Take another breath in and exhale. Good. Now flex your right foot. Send your right leg straight across the room. Make sure the roller's still underneath. Straighten this leg. Slowly bring this leg up. Make sure your knee is straight. Tilt your pelvis on top of the roller, but check that your ribs are heavy. And as you flex and point this foot, do you feel a lengthening down the whole back of your leg? So you want it to feel like it's one long line from your heel to your sit bone. Hold your foot flexed. Turn your hip in and out. You're still tilted on top of the roller. Your pelvis is heavy on the roller, which means you're light on your left foot. Turn the foot out. You want to stay heavy through that right hip. You want to stay flexed through your right foot. And take a breath in. As you exhale, you're going to cross your right leg over midline. Your left leg's going to come over midline. As you reach your right hip down, tighten this thigh, and then pull your baby toe towards the outside of your knee. Notice that tensional pull down the outside of your thigh. Take a focused breath in and exhale. Bring your leg back to center. Bend your knee and place your foot down and just feel that rush of fluid into the back thigh, back knee, calf, and foot. Bring your left foot up, flex your foot. Send your leg across the room. Bring your leg up, keeping your leg straight so your thigh is engaged. Ribs stay heavy. Tilt your pelvis on top of the roller. So you want to feel heavy on your pelvis, light on that right foot. As you flex and point your foot, if you're in the correct position, when you flex, you'll feel this full line running from your heel to your sit bone. If you're tucked and you're doing this, you'll feel your calf and your hamstrings. It'll feel like two separate units. So then hold your foot flexed. Check that you're tilted on the roller. Ribs are heavy. Turn at your hip so your hip joint is externally and internally rotating. Hold the external rotation. Leg is straight. Anchor this left hip to the roller. Take a breath in. As you exhale, your left leg is going to cross midline. Your right leg crosses midline as well. Reaching this hip down. You want to pull your baby toe towards the outside of your knee. Pause. Take a focused breath in. And exhale. Bring your leg back to center. Bend your knee. Place your foot down and allow that rush of fluid. Lift your pelvis. Move the roller out from underneath you. You're going to roll onto your side and come up to a seated position. Good. We doing all right? All right. That's a lot of good work. So hopefully that's feeling good in your low back and your pelvis and your upper back. We're going to finish with our rebalance sequence and upper body length today. So take your roller, place it lengthwise on your mat, move your body so you're at the bottom of your mat. One hand on the roller, one hand on the floor. You simply lift your pelvis up, sit on the very end of the roller with your knees bent. Use your hands to assist. You lie all the way down on the roller. We want to make sure your head is all the way on the roller. So just reach up and touch and make sure that your head is not hanging off the top. Bring your elbows, your forearms, and your hands onto the mat and go into your gentle rocking. This is your rebalance sequence. And the job of your gentle rocking is to help recorrect your autopilot, such as that your body understands where your center of gravity is. Do this for 30 to 60 seconds. And then you come back to center. Place your hands on your rib cage. Extend your arms up. You want your arms over top of your ribs. So notice my arms are angled slightly towards my thighs, and I'm holding them shoulder width apart. So I visualize holding onto a little box between my hands. Shoulder blade reach, your shoulder blades pull wide as you inhale, and as you exhale, let your shoulder blades relax around the roller. Inhale, shoulder blade reach. And we want to move just your shoulder blades. So what you want to watch for here is that you're not compressing your neck or tightening through your chest. You want to stay broad through your collarbone, easy in your neck, and just moving your scapula apart and towards your spine. Let your shoulder blades relax heavy around your roller. And now we're going to picture that we're widening our arms. You want to keep your hands in line with your ribs and just pull your arms big. You want to stop where your arms are above the height of your body, like you're holding onto a giant, giant beach ball. So you're really spreading your arms apart as they're rounded. We want your biceps to the ceiling, your elbows to the floor, and then rotate your forearms so your forearm is to the ceiling. And now reach your arms even bigger, like really trying to wrap your arms around this giant, giant beach ball. From there, spread your hands wide. You're going to flex your hands so that your fingers are moving towards the same wall. So it's like you're tossing and catching the ball. Keep your fingers long, keep your palms open. So you're just moving at your wrist. If you have a hard time with that, you can make a fist and just move in your wrist. And then hold, reach your arms a little bigger. Check, are your bicep to the ceiling, elbows to the floor, forearm to the ceiling, noticing that tensional pull come maybe from your collarbone down the front of your arm. Take a focused breath in. And exhale, bring your arms back towards the ceiling. Good. Next, keeping your elbows straight, we're going to scissor your arms. Here, you want to keep your arms above the height of your body. So when my top arm comes back, I want to stop when I can still see my arm in my eye view, and your bottom arm stops when it's above the height of your pelvis. Keep your elbows straight, keep your ribs heavy, and just breathe. Inhale and exhale. So now we're moving just the shoulder joint while maintaining stillness in your shoulder blade. Good. And then bring your arms back to center and return to your shoulder blade reach. And just notice if there's any more smoothness in your shoulder blade movement. Good. And then bringing your hands down, reach your arms long. Your arms are just about the width of your mat. Open your throat. Take a breath. And as you exhale, gently tilt your nose to the right. So just to sort of that 11 or 10 o'clock, and reach a little longer with the left arm. Throat is open. Take a focused breath in. And exhale, slowly release that arm, turn your head back to center. Gently tilt your head over to between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Keep your throat open and reach through your left arm a little more, looking for a tensional pull, maybe in your neck, down the side of your, into the collarbone or down the arm. Take a focused breath in and exhale. Ease on that arm, turn your head back to center. Straighten out your left leg. Roll off to the left side of your roller. Lie down on your back as you move the roller out of your way. Turn your palms to the ceiling. Close your eyes. So we did our rebalance sequence, but we did our actually lower body length. We did our rebalance sequence and then our upper body length. And if we did that, all of that correctly, what we will notice specifically is the low back curve is going to feel a little more distinct. So while your rib cage is down, you'll feel that the low back curve is between your upper pelvis and your belly button, and it's going to feel like it's more of a steep curve. You might also notice that you're more weighted on your butt cheeks. And then just divide your body into a left and right and see if you feel more balance between those two sides. And then I just want to check in with your neck one more time, just turning your head side to side. I felt I had some restrictions still after that upper body compression, and now I feel that restriction completely gone. Come back to center, take a focused breath in. Bend your knees. As you exhale, roll onto your side and bring yourself up to a seated position. Good. So I'm just going to stop the recording and I will unmute you so that we can check in.